welcome to the live stream. There, lots of people are here just in time for me to say that I am switching away from doing the Tuesday night live streams. Y'all start coming to the Tuesday night live streams. Let me know if you can see and hear me, because as you know, last week we had some issues. We're live, so you know we've already come with less stress, less problems than last time. But the chat is really quiet, so I hope that means the levels look really quiet from here. How does it sound? Aaron asks. Yeah, they do look kind of quiet. So what we are going to do today is a Techo Kaigi, which is okay. Well, let me make sure that people actually can see and hear me. Am I actually okay? It's very quiet. Something is getting fixed. I don't know why the chat is not moving. Oh, okay. For some reason, the chat wasn't updating, which is super annoying. Audio level is low. I can only fix so much because I'm stuck under a cat. I think Aaron had to move the cat. It's very bad. It is very quiet. The audio seems much lower than the music was. If you can't see, there's a little person behind me. Little head popping up. That is fixing the audio. So I can't really make it louder, much more loud. Wait. Okay. Is it going up? It's going up. Going up. Okay, great. Hello, welcome. Hopefully the audio is fixed now. Okay, everybody, much better. Everybody says it's all good. Thank you. Aaron, who I believe is going to take a donut tax for today's donut, redid this entire live streaming kit last night. Now we have it all on a little cart with my Croatian flag and my Pride Progress flag on the top. But we have it on a little cart. It is much better than the situation last week, which was chaotic. Essentially, when we moved, Aaron really tried very hard to fit everything into one of like these kind of cubes that you see back here in the Expedite. I think they're called Kallax now, IKEA shelves. And it meant that once something went wrong, and Aaron, of course, was 8-hour time difference away, asleep, it was impossible to diagnose because everything was like perfectly placed, where if you had to fix a wire, they were just like completely lost. So yeah, it was quite a bit of a mess. So last week was chaotic and borderline untenable. Yes, it was very chaotic and untenable. For some reason, the chat is taking a while to update, but we will see. Okay, so this is the overhead camera. No, wait, that's not the overhead camera. Where is my overhead camera? There we go. Here is the donut today. Look how beautiful this donut is. It is a coffee-dipped old-fashioned donut. It's just so pretty. It's very wabi-sabi sort of beautiful kind of donut. But I think I may have to offer a donut tax, given that Aaron completely rebuilt everything for us. So that's very beautiful. We will, I look forward to eating that in a little bit. But what we are going to be doing today is a Techo Kaigi, which is someone who does not speak Japanese and is probably pronouncing it incorrectly. What it means is like a Techo is a calendar or a planner, and it is a meeting of the planners, and it's meant to mean like a discussion with yourself about what is and is not working in your planner system. And I have a lot of planners. This is quite the stack that we have going on here. So I thought we would kind of review, because I am not immune, despite doing an entire live stream on not getting sucked into the consumerism of all of the planner launches. I fell down the hole. I have fully fallen into the consumerism, and I am really having a lot of thoughts about what I want to do. And I fell so hard into it that I got myself today. I just received this Hobonichi Weeks, which is the first time I've ever gotten one. I got it half off because it's most of the way through the year, so it's practically free. I don't know if anybody's been following the trend of what's called girl math, which I think has a lot of a lot of misogyny built into it, and we don't need to perpetuate the idea that girls are bad at math or bad at finances. But the concept of girl math is when you can talk yourself into how spending money is actually saving you money. It's creative accounting for personal finances. And this is creative accounting, where I've essentially girl mathed it into, well, I spent $12.50 on this Hobonichi Weeks, but I could be saving myself hundreds of dollars if I convince myself that this size does not work and I don't order a whole new planner for which I will need to have to get all new accessories for because I don't have this size. So we'll talk about the Hobonichi Weeks in a little bit. I've got to say it's so cute and light, and I was kind of worried that it would be too small. So we'll kind of talk about that. But let's actually go through my Techo Kaigi thus far, what I'm actually using this year. So we'll start with the one that I started the year with, which is my Take a Note planner. And my Take a Note planner is in the Kyoko systemic notebook system. So it essentially can come out like this when and I can use this notebook at the same time. I find this extremely helpful for taking notes when I'm like doing reporting and things like that. And I also think that this is kind of a bit of a more like business like planner cover than my like fabric Hobonichi ones that I think maybe are like a little more whimsical. And so this one makes me feel like it's okay for bringing to work. As you can tell, the insides are not that not quite as, they're a little more whimsical on the inside. So I've been just storing like my frequently used stickers in here, which right now are my stickers for live streams because I mark those off on my calendar every week, bike rides, and then I currently have a 30-day trial at a yoga place, and so I am trying to do all of the yoga while I have unlimited yoga. So I have that so that I can mark the yoga every time I do it in there. So this has been working out pretty well thus far. I believe I pre-ordered this Take a Note planner last year. The main reason I wanted to go for this is I liked the A5 size in the Hobonichi Cousin, but I was frankly, and I don't unfortunately have my Hobonichi Cousin to show you because it's in storage because we're currently building a place. Anyway, if you're a frequent viewer, you know what's going on with that. So I don't have my cousin to show you, but I essentially had a lot of blank pages. And I'm mostly a to-do list person. So I kind of found that the Take a Notes layout, which is essentially a kind of overview of the week at the side where you can put in horizontal, which is not how I think, but it's sort of a horizontal view. And then a week is on 4 pages. So you essentially just have a long place to put to-do lists, and I am a very to-do list oriented person. I think about like everything in terms of to-do lists. So I was using this as a functional planner. I was really excited about these little overview sections. And I was originally using these to just sort of put like the short version of what I do in the day. And I really kind of abandoned it in May. It just didn't really quite work the way that I wanted it to, and I haven't been using it since May. My monthly overviews I use for kind of a combination of tracking things that I already have done and some forward planning, and then I'll put my monthly to-dos. These have remained fairly consistent. This little house files is for when we put a new house files out. It's for breakfast on the bridges. This is like a fairly self-explanatory. I ran out of these little skate stickers though, and I really should probably like get a stamp or something because I was using these to track like all of my skates there. So I was out of the country in March and I did not bring this planner with me because I was going to Japan and I knew I was going to come home with a lot of planners. So I didn't bring extra planners. So you'll start to see that a lot of stuff that my daily pages were pretty much empty in March. So I also really need a sticker. You can see I've just been using this like kind of cute podcast sticker. I believe this is from Sweet Avis Design. I was using that for when I'm actually hosting on air at my job. And it's been okay. I also tried to tip in my monthly expenses, but I haven't really been using this for like memory keeping. And so I don't know if tipping in at the end of the month, my little tracking makes a lot of sense. I think that this might not be the right venue for this. So the monthly pages are going pretty well. You can see this is sort of what it looks like at the beginning of the month, forward planning, just sort of like the key elements on here. And this is what the weekly pages look like. What I am finding is, frankly, a week across 4 pages is too many pages for me. I will say I have been getting somewhat annoyed at having to flip back and forth to kind of see the overview of these elements. And as you can see, I'm doing barely any time planning on it where I'm actually blocking out the times for things because I have to use Outlook at work. And I use this actually like mainly for my own business and for personal things more than I use it for, yeah. Okay, so now we're getting into like, you can see just how many days where there'll be like, just, I won't have nearly as many things. I also would say that I think about my to-do lists other than like my cleaning to-do lists or packing to-do lists. I generally think about them more on a weekly basis because I only have a few things, most of which are for my day job, where they have to happen on a certain day versus most things kind of need to happen within the course of a week. And so often I will end up putting like the week's sort of to-do list on just one of the days. This is really, it's turning out to be too much space for me. But I do like the columns. I love the very simple design of this. This was also like, I had a blank page and I wanted to use it. I think I did this on a live stream where I used it just for other goals. But I do think this is a bit overblown as far as the amount of space. I don't think it's really kind of working for this here. Okay, oh my God, so many comments. Let's going that. I am pronouncing Techo Kaigi correctly. Thank you, Journaling Broom. You've really got into it. I've gotten my first traveler's notebook soon. We are going to we are going to talk about the traveler's notebook because I got my first one when I was in Japan in March, and I love a lot of things about it. So I really want to talk about that. I see Ara Estelle Weeks. I'm using it this year and has been working great, especially for health stuff. I'm excited to talk about that. Is Traveler's Journal a brand or a style? Both, Fuzz Bubbles. It's both. Exactly what you asked. It is both a brand and a style. Yeah. I love using the weeks as a planner. Been using it for almost 2 years now. I'm going to get it for a 3rd year. So here's what's interesting is I'm not actually thinking about getting the weeks necessarily for next year. I'm thinking about getting one of the brands that makes a version of the weeks. But I was worried about the size. And you can obviously tell that this is kind of too big. But one of the problems I run into, like B6, which is the slightly stepped down, smaller version of this here. I think I have a B6 for people that aren't nerds. This is a B6, I believe. Is this an A5? Now I'm questioning my life choices. See, I have so many fewer planners here in this place than I do otherwise. I think this is a B6. This might be an A5. My B6 works fine for me, but A5 feels really small, and Passport, which is like kind of almost half the size of this, is way too small for me. It looks like a column. Can you explain more how it's horizontal? So it is horizontal. If you didn't kind of see that, it's the first column is, if you look really faint, it's an overview of the week. So it'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday there. And then each day gets its own one. So there's essentially 8 columns across 4 pages. So you get this sort of like overview of the week like that. It's hard to see the horizontal columns on the camera. I can send you, yeah. We can also look at it in a second too. YouTube is weird with links, sorry. Okay, Google take a note. 2024 A5 should come up. Yosika has it on her site too. Okay, we're getting these handled. B6 Slim. So I had B6 Slim when I had the Kyoko Jimbun Techo, and I didn't like it. But B6 works fine for me, but as soon as B6 Slim is the size, it feels too small to me. So, yeah, I don't know. So this is where we're at right now. I will use this till the end of the year, I assume. It's working okay. It's awful big to bring, like, back and forth to work and to all my appointments. And I'm using it more for personal stuff than I am using it for work. So I work a Wednesday through a Sunday schedule, and, you know, I'll end up kind of putting it like to-dos there. But if you notice, like, it's mostly like a weekly sort of to-do list more than it ends up being like home. That's like all of the stuff that needs to happen. So it just ends up not really making the most sense, I feel like, to have quite this much space, but I want to make it comfortable for writing. I'm not the smallest writer. I'm not the smallest writer out there, but I'm also not the biggest writer. So this is what I've been using. I also really like the cover. I do like the nice fabric covers, but this, I feel like it works well business-wise. I'm not like, I don't feel like it's like weird to bring out at a meeting, versus some of kind of the more decorative ones. So, my every year, because my birthday's in July, I sort of often use it as an opportunity to kind of also think about starting new projects. And so I started a 5-year journal in July, and I ended up getting the YouthWill, which is not one a lot of people I feel like know about. I found it on Amazon, and what I liked about it is that it's fairly large, so it had a decent amount of space to write in. My old 5-year journal, which I finished in 2019, was A5, and so it was so small, and it was you really could only write like 1 line a day, and I found that kind of annoying. So I wanted a little bit more space. I just saw that Sterling Ink is coming out with a 5-year journal. And I was like, if only I hadn't just started this new 5-year journal on my birthday. So this has been working out well. And I still have been too intimidated to fill in the 5-year plan in the front, or the vision board, which is really silly. The longer I take to fill it out, the less it will truly capture it. But this has been working fine, and I haven't been taking this when I travel, but I haven't done any extended trips since I started it. I expect I'll be able to keep using this for a 5-year journal, so I'm not in the market for one, so I just don't have to maybe be tempted about getting in one. A note about how much I've been obsessing over planners is that for the past couple of weeks, I keep accidentally writing 2024 at the top because I've been looking at so many planners for 2024 and then having to fix it. So a bunch of the days I had to like rewrite the 3 over it because I've been obsessing about planners so much for next year this week. This one is working really well for me. It has a little like slip box and stuff too, but I mostly just leave it out. And then when I'm out of town, I already kind of like keep some logs on my phone. So I will just like jot down on my phone what needs to get written in here, and I'll write it down when I get back. If I go on an extended trip, then we'll kind of assess if I'm going to bring this or not. This is awful large to bring with me. So now, this is the one where this is the first time I've ever really gotten into anything akin to like memory keeping. I've never been kind of lured into the traveler's notebook side of things. It always seemed like it would be really hard to write in for me, but I got this when I was in Tokyo, and I have been enjoying it. I originally was using it for journaling. I will also pull out in my backlog. I've looked at this through. So I'm kind of like, I got an entire one to do travel journaling in while I was in Japan. And because there was just a lot to travel journal about in Japan, I really went whole hog on it. And I have to say, I really like memory keeping in something like this, where I just don't feel bad about packing the pages with pictures and packing the pages with things, because it's such a small little encapsulated package, and you can take it out and you don't have to carry it around, versus using something like a Hobonichi Cousin, where if you're doing like memory keeping in a dated book and you're packing it full of something due to an event or a trip or something like that, you're now stuck like hauling that around the whole year. I also will say the satisfaction of like filling up one of these notebooks is pretty great. And them being a little bit smaller, I'm just finding that I'm not as like precious about them. And so thus far, I'm really liking this. And I've never really been like much of a physical print out pictures kind of memory keeping person, but I'm trying to get better at it, because I hate when all of my pictures just live in my phone, or even worse, like all of my memories are video that I shot that I have not edited yet that just like live on hard drives. And so I'm trying to get better at it, and it's, I think, working really well. I've been doing some long form journaling. None is particularly profound. But I've also been using it to like test out things. So one of the things was that I was testing out the spread for this particular planner that I'm thinking about getting, where it's in a traveler's notebook. So I wanted to see if this layout would work for me. And I'm also doing sort of stamping. What's also cool is I feel like I can just like kind of add notebooks to the traveler's notebook, and everything feels very low commitment, which is nice for me. But I can like structure a project within it, and that works really well for me. I don't feel the perfectionism doesn't get in the way as much with this, but I still need structure. So what I've been using for this memory keeping since my birthday, like I said, I start a lot of things on my birthday because it's kind of halfway through the year. So a lot of times I started this is the undated traveler's notebook, like horizontal journal. And I've been trying to like print some pictures every week on my little photo printer and do some like scrapbooking about like what happened during that week. And it isn't beautifully decorated, but it's just like I'm actually creating some sort of memory keeping about what's happening beyond just the data I track. Because I've been tracking a lot of data about my life for a pretty long time, but I feel like this is actually, I don't know, it's felt nice. And like I said, it's low commitment. I have long complained about how much I hate undated planners because I will constantly screw them up. And I like at some point got days off with the dates in this. And I just want to say, this is why I am seriously considering keeping this up for like in this particular style for 2024. But I will be buying the like $12 insert that's dated if I do that. And I want 2 separate ones because I think 6 months will work better. I'll feel more able to pack it in there. The only thing that I've been running into is that one, I'm not particularly artistic. And then weeks that have a lot going on, like I was in this show, so I had a lot of pictures from the show, or like I was at a wedding and there was like a lot of things going on at the wedding, and I also led a stationery store day ride. I have been finding that it is hard to fit all the stuff in, and that's one of the reasons I've been kind of considering there's essentially like a couple other options where they are similar to this, but then they have more pages in between. And so I was kind of thinking about that, but I generally really like the Traveler's Notebook size. This little charm it really is not great when you work in radio to bring this because it makes noise, but I like it. And the bells are like protecting me every time. I got it from a temple. And this is a little train charm. It's not meant for travelers. Neither of these are made for travelers' notebooks, but trains are always a thing that I want to go for. So I just bought a secondhand traveler's notebook from someone, very excited to give it a try. I've been weirdly loving this. I think it's just the low kind of commitment style of thing. Like I'm someone who has a lot of trouble committing to putting stickers on the front of books, especially like on the front of my planner, because I'm like, oh, the whole year. But like also, how good are both of these stickers? But I haven't really been struggling to do that as much. So this is what I've been using right now. As a memory keeping medium, the size is smaller than an actual full-size scrapbook size. So now, so smaller is better. Yeah, I will say that like the smaller is better is nice, and then you can kind of pack it. So one of the other things I've been doing is like I'm trying to actually like go out to local restaurants and stuff like that. And so I have this one that is like where you can track. I think it's meant to be like a daily notebook, but I've been using it to track like each place that I go gets their own page. I am kind of finding I'm not as good at restaurant journaling, but since we moved, I wanted to like try out some new places. I love the Jelly Rolls one. Yeah, I got that on the stationery store day ride from Paper Rock Scissors. And the Crying My Best is from Paper Epiphanies, which also has just so many good things. My new laptop is so heavy, I'm trying to lighten up my backpack wherever I can. Nice. Well, I won't say that this is light, but... did you add the photos back at home, or do you have a good tiny photo printer? I now have a tiny photo printer. So I've been using it to kind of catch up on doing things. Aaron got a tiny photo printer. It just like appeared at some point and then I just stole it. That many pages to turn will make me forget things. Yeah, I do think that is a little frustrating. Tracking restaurants, now that would be cool. Yeah, I'm not someone who goes out to eat, and I've been trying to do more of it as we're in a new neighborhood, and so I was thinking that making it a project might make it a little more fun. Okay, now I just got this today, and I'm gonna get to why I got this. First of all, it was $12.50, so like life will go on if it's a total waste. It is so cute and tiny, but I am worried about it being too small. And so I didn't want to commit to anything in this size for next year as my like main planner until I tried it out. But I have 2 planners that I am thinking about, which we'll kind of walk through in a bit. This is the Hobonichi Weeks. It's not the Hobonichi Weeks Mega because I'm like most of the way through the year. So I have two thoughts about it. One was that this is just very cute and might actually make a really good skating tracker, because I track a lot of my like skating stuff on my phone, but it would be nice to have a notebook that I could actually like bring with me and track, like write down the hours that I skate, how many of each type of jump I do. Because right now I track that all on my phone, and I do think it would be nice to have a little bit more journaling about it. But the main reason I got this is because I wanted to like try out this layout. As someone who's always been pretty obsessed with seeing my time in a vertical format, I realized I haven't needed it quite as much as because I like track all my time. And this layout is a take on the layout that is available from PaperTess Designs. And hers is actually in a traveler's notebook size, so it'll be like a little bigger. So it's a smidge bigger. But the other planner I'm considering getting is a week's size booklet, but it has more pages in between. Originally, when I was thinking about the weeks, I was thinking about getting the Ara Estelle week size, which has like this on the side, but then it has like a page for each day. And I was thinking, man, that could be good for memory keeping, but I think that might be too much commitment. I think even though these pages are small, I think an entire page for memory keeping each day, I would get behind and I would be really stressed out about it. I don't want to bulk. Like, I think one of the advantages of this is it's so tiny. You don't want to bulk it up necessarily with a ton of memory keeping. This is more like a portable thing that can go with you. But I do think it could actually work as a planner, like a functional planner for me, because I can do like my weekly to-do lists, the sort of horizontal overview of the week that I'm used to, and then I tested this out. This is last week, but I just filled it in today, like as a backfill to kind of see what it could look like. And so, you know, I would probably use stamps or stickers or something like that, but I put like the miles I biked and how many hours of skating I did in there. I, you know, this was my actual to-do list for last week, but I just filled them in to see like, would it fit? My meal planning was like the meals that I ate. And then this is like a little vertical view of my calendar. And I do think this could end up working well, but I'm a little worried about like running out of space. But this is where the pages in the back kind of come in. Because the pages in the back you can use when things kind of flow over. And I think that could end up, and they're numbered, so you can make like an index so you can always refer back and forth to them. And that could work for when I have like packing lists or things that I need more space for. So I think that could work well. One of my biggest complaints about Take a Note is that even though I have too much space on the inside, there's very few pages at the back. So it makes it harder to have like reference pages because there's very, very few pages at the back. There's 2 extra pages at the end of the year, which is not quite enough. We have a knock on the door, so I think Aaron is hopefully going to deal with that. I don't see a person though. It all seems to fit and it isn't too small to read. I will also say it wasn't super frustrating to write in. It does seem like a somewhat flexible format. I have already pre-ordered the Sterling Ink A5, but I could not use that one. I could use it for memory keeping. Maybe I could flip things on the head. The PaperTess one just seems like it has so much going on. Well, that's actually, I think, what might end up working for me. So let's actually look at those. Tiny photo printer recommendation. It's a Kodak. Hold on. It's in here. It is a Kodak Mini Retro P21OR. depending on how much of a deal you get, the photos end up being about $1 a photo. So it's kind of similar to a Polaroid. I think I got it down to like, I bought them in bulk and I think I got it down to like 50 cents a photo. And for me, the act of actually making myself document it is I think working for me. So yeah, that's my Techo Kaigi. Oh my God, I was doing well and then now it's gone. I'm getting sorely tempted to do one of these for next year. But I'm also thinking about doing the Traveler's Notebook. So should I eat the donut first or should we look at the planners I'm considering? Watching this is making me get excited about getting my first Traveler's Notebook soon. It's getting customized currently at Baumkuchen. It's an olive. Oh, that's very exciting. Yeah, I really like it. And my mom said something about I come by to-do lists, honestly, but that the unedited videos come from the Care Bake side. Well, I definitely know. I think my dad has, I think my dad's been working on the same novel for like 20 years, so. I love the Hobonichi Weeks. I don't know why I want to keep trying new things if I love it. I think that's like... that is just the way things happen sometimes. And I mean, that's one of the things I talked about in the planning consumerism video is that you see other people try things out and you imagine whatever version of your life that you're going to have if you have a different notebook or a different journal. For me, the thing that has been important for me is I think about what I want to focus on the next year. And then I kind of try to backwards engineer the planner from that. And my lifestyle changed a ton from the beginning of this year to now because I got a totally different job. I work in person like 4 or 5 days a week. I have like a pretty weird schedule where Monday and Tuesday are my weekends. So I start work incredibly early on the weekends. And so there's just a lot of things that inform my planner decision where what was working might not be working anymore. And I also we're doing like a really big project right now in building this triplex. And because of that, I do feel like it's such a big thing that we're not going to do anytime soon. And so I don't want to miss out on not kind of doing that documentation, but I know myself well enough to know that if I create too big of a documentation project, I will get overwhelmed and I'll stop doing it. And I was really frustrated. I really don't like undated planners because I'm very bad at them. I will just get off track. I'll lose them. I'll forget the date. I'll misdate. I mean, the fact that even in my 5-year journal, I was misdoing the year. And in August, I was misdoing the year. I don't like undated journals, but if things don't have enough structure, but if things have too much structure and I can't live up to the confines of the structure, then I'll get frustrated with myself. So yeah. Don't decide on an empty stomach. The coffee and the donut will give you the energy to look at more planners. All right, y'all. So I am pretty excited about this week's situation. I don't think I want to get an actual Hobonichi Weeks for next year. Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't like the quotes on the bottom. I think it wastes a lot of space in an otherwise not that big planner. And I do think that I like the Traveler's Notebook, but one of the concerns I have is that I kind of bulk up this Traveler's Notebook right now with the memory keeping in here. And if I'm doing memory keeping in one notebook and then I also have my planner in there, I don't know if I'm going to want to carry it around. So, all right. It is talking planners and eating donut time. We will also talk about the expenses in these, but For those that are undecided or tempted by shiny things, Cindy Baldo, I never know how to pronounce her last name, but she's great, has a good video about evaluating your planner system. Yes, go watch that video. I might need to watch that video. Evaluating your planner system, observation and honesty. That sounds like a great recommendation to make. All right, it is donut time. If you don't know why there's a donut, this is because this is Talking Dough and Eating Donuts, where we talk about money and sometimes planners, and we also eat a donut. Today's donut is a vegan coffee-dipped old-fashioned donut, and I have discovered on this live stream that I generally love the old-fashioned style donuts, which are like kind of a harder donut. They're less fluffy, and they usually have this little like box on the top. I don't know, I love these, and I generally love coffee-flavored things. So I'm pretty stoked about how this is going to taste. Oh, wow. I was worried that this frosting was going to be like really frosting-y, but it is a hard coating, and so it's actually just a really delicious flavor on it. But look at how like crusty this side of this is. It is very hard to eat on camera. It's very crunchy. All of the coffee flavor is in the frosting, so I'm not getting very much of it on this side. I think Aaron is coming over to look at the monitors, but that's actually just to have an excuse to be over here for a donut tax. That was 100%. We're going to find out. We're going to get a review off screen. Did you get some with the frosting side on it? Because that's the... It's pretty good. I don't think I can eat this whole thing. It is dense. Oh yeah, you can help. I'm trying to... The coffee flavor here is a very specific coffee flavor. It's like the coffee flavor in coffee cake. Which makes sense because this is a donut. So I'm sure it's made similarly. It's pretty good. My expectations may have been sky high for this one. And I don't think it's living up to my 5 out of 5 that I thought it was going to be. But I think I'll give it a 4 out of 5. You better not finish that whole thing. You can finish half of what's left on that plate. Leave some for me after the live stream. Okay. 4 out of 5 donuts. If the coffee flavor is just on one side, I guess you're supposed to try to eat it like right through the middle, maybe. Yeah, but then it doesn't... The middle is a hole, so I don't think it really works that way. 4 out of 5. I do admit to not being a big donut eater, but I love coffee. Yeah, this is very good. Aaron has turned away from me while eating this donut like he's like ashamed of his donut eating or something. All right. Should we look at planners now? I want another piece of this donut. It's the crunch plus the coffee situation is very good. I wonder if it's going to be hard to fall asleep tonight. All right. Let's talk through all the planners I am thinking about getting. So, this is what started the whole week situation, is that Estelle is a, they kind of started as like a planner covers brand. And that's, I think, still like the bulk of their business. But they also make these Tomoe River papers, which is the paper that's used in the Hobonichis and a bunch of the other planners, frankly. They made sort of their own version of this. And so they have one that's coming out in 2024 that's like the weeks, but it kind of has these like little boxes right here. So if you need to do kind of more vertical times, you'd be able to do your vertical. I can't zoom in for some reason on this. Oh, there we go. You'd be able to do like vertical kind of planning there on it. And then it has a daily page. So it's meant for people that want like a little more pages in it. But what I really liked was that they have like a version, it's called the Catch Up or the Catchall, but they don't have it in the week size. And this one seemed really cool. It's got sort of this overview, but then there's just 3 pages. So it's the week, it's one weekly overview and then 3 pages for each week. And I felt like that's like, would be very good for memory keeping, where, you know, I often kind of like run out on that one side page that I'm using. Like I'm stacking photos on top of each other, but it, you know, gives you a little extra space to put things in. But they don't have that in the week size. But the other reason that I was kind of tempted to get the weeks is because they have this cover for it that's like an adorable little adorable little cover that like has the zipper and all the things I kind of like to store with my traveler's notebook, but also you can like wear it like a purse. And now that I see how tiny and cute this is, I was like, oh my gosh, this could just be very fun. But the temptation that I have of getting this is, of course, that I'm getting like lured into not only switching planners, but then something where I don't have any of the accessories for it. Like if I continue to get an A5 planner, then I would be, I have so many A5 covers. I have B6 covers. If I get a traveler's notebook one, I have a traveler's notebook already. That's like a traveler system using it as a wallet. Well, and that's the thing too, is that it has traveler's notebook straps in it. So yeah, you can like see them putting notebooks in there like the traveler system. So I tried that one, but it wasn't enough space for me. Well, did you have the extra like 7 pages or no? I've never heard of this brand planner. Yeah, they're very interesting. I've been resisting that cover for months. It's only a matter of time before I cave, trying to wait till Black Friday. Well, I am also resisting it, but they are doing a sale right now, which is part of what has made me, you know, this is how I kind of creative accountinged my way into this, where I was like, well, if I get talked out of this, then I don't have to buy this cover and this planner. So I'm essentially, this is, instead of being $12, this is like negative $100 if I decide not to buy this planner. But they are doing a sale right now. The one that didn't have enough space was the A6. Yeah, I can't really handle A6 as a size. It just, I can't like write on it very well, but this Weeks is working okay for me. But also I haven't been using it as an everyday one. This is the thing I'm very tempted by though. This is PaperTess Designs, and this fits in a traveler's notebook. It is not out yet for next year, and I have not, she's a pretty small brand, based in Europe, so I have not been able to get a hold of, like a one to try out. So that's why I ended up doing a spread that's sort of like it in order to kind of test it out, just to see. I also did one in my traveler's notebook, because I just kind of had the thought that like maybe this will end up working for me. So I know a lot of people wouldn't like something this structured, and I think I used to maybe not want something this structured, but I think this could end up working for me now. And so I'm a little low-key tempted by it. It's Tomoya River paper. It's got extra pages in the back. They are numbered just like the Weeks is. The only thing is it doesn't have this kind of cool little... its yearly overview is not as cool as this like very neat one that a lot of people really love in the Hobonichi Weeks, which I was planning on using for tracking like how much time I do skating as sort of a test for it. And it doesn't have that. It has kind of a more simple one like this. And that is the only thing I could see like really kind of missing it from there. I think it could end up working, but yeah, I guess one of the fears is like this is very structured, so I think a lot of people might not like the structure, but I could see it really working for me. So those are what I am thinking about that are kind of off the wall for me, I would say. And these are both Traveler's Notebook standard sized. I don't know, should I? I like the A6 for diary writing daily pages. Yeah, I kind of thought about that, but I was worried that I'd feel too much pressure to fill it up every single day. Like one of the things I like about doing this kind of this weekly Traveler's Notebook spread for my memory keeping is that, if I've got more to write on one day, I can kind of take it over to the other page. I don't know. I really like the Hobonichi Weeks, but I am not going to lie, I'm super tempted for the new Hobonichi A6 original in English. Well, I never wanted the Hobonichi A6 original because it didn't have the weekly pages, because I always really needed that weekly layout. I have now pre-ordered the Sterling Ink A5, which if people don't know, okay, Sterling Ink, and I feel like maybe now I should have maybe done the okay, so the one that I ordered was the A5. Oh, she doesn't, because the pre-orders are closed, she doesn't really have it on here. Oh, does she? Maybe under planners? Yeah, she doesn't have it, but I essentially got the A5, but I got the whole year in one book rather than like the Avec book. And it is kind of a smaller version. So it's not as thick. It doesn't have pages for every single day of the year at the back. I could see this working very well for me. This is probably the closest to the Hobonichi Cousin, but like with some of the problems I had with the Hobonichi Cousin taken out. I didn't like the quotes on every page, and I couldn't fill up all of the pages. Now I wouldn't kind of have that problem. But now I'm a little tempted by this little Weeks, but I don't want to have too many planners to take care of. And that has been the flexibility of the Traveler's Notebook system for me, is that I can use it kind of for memory keeping, but I don't have to commit to any project for too long because they're much smaller. You can find it in her YouTube video for the 2024 planner. She did just release Tomoya River Paper Traveler's Notebook inserts, monthly and weekly inserts. Yeah, I just saw that. I don't think it necessarily fits my needs for memory keeping, but I did see that. I might get that. I can't kind of believe that. I kind of hate the yearly overview in the Weeks because all the days that are already colored in gray and red. Yeah, that is a good point. That is one of the more frustrating things about it, is that like this, if you're gonna if you wanted to use it to like color code or whatever, it makes it really hard because it's got all the Saturday, Sundays in there. And then also like I think the public holidays are, no, not in the English version. The Japanese public holidays are not colored in. But I don't know. I find it a little frustrating. So I have this one on order and maybe I should just stick with this. The Take a Note, I think me and Take a Note are breaking up this year. I'm using it. I will use it through the end of the year. I currently have the A5 English version. And for the reasons I mentioned, I have a lot of blank columns. I'm not finding I need that much space. I was a little tempted to like, maybe I should go down to the A6, but I find A6 really hard to write in. And I also don't have any A6 accessories. And I have all of the covers and everything for A5, so I'm kind of tempted to not move down in size. And then the B6 is interesting, but it's a different layout. It's not, if it was B6 with the Take a Note layout, I would be kind of tempted, but instead it's a sort of flexible design. It's very hard to get this all on one page for you. I'm sorry. I find that annoying, but there we go. Okay. So it's got this sort of like vertical view that you can sort of take in and out. Maybe it would work really well for me. And maybe I should just, I like everything else about Take a Note, which is that I like that it is, lay flat. The paper works for me. I like how minimal the design is. And I do have some B6 accessories because I used to be in a Mossery planner. So Take a Note. It's not you, it's me. I don't know. Now maybe I'm just talking myself back into it, you all. Because I could do to-do lists every day, or I could do vertical time planning. Oh, you all. It doesn't have a mini calendar on the weeks, which is a little annoying. It just kind of shows you where in the week you are. So those are one of my thoughts. And then the Hobonichi releases also came out, and I do think it's worth mentioning them. They've released a bunch of new things. I don't think I want any of the hardcover book ones. The Hone is like a hardcover book version where you don't need a cover for it. They released a lot more things with English versions this year. They kind of started to do that last year. None of the covers are really singing to me except these botanical ones. I really do like, but I did see that there was a Back to the Future special edition one in Loft in Japan. And I was like, that one is the coolest one that I've seen, but you can't get it. You can only get it from Loft. So and I'm not obsessed enough to like use a shopping service to pick it up for me in Japan. My big problem with Hobonichi still remains the intense amount of quote space that things take up. And I like, sure, it's an opportunity to use washi tape, but especially in the cousin where it's taking up like every day I'm having to like use washi tape or stickers to cover it up, or I just am ignoring it. It just feels like a lot of wasted space, and Sterling Ink and Take a Note both don't have that problem. So running lists on Hobo Weeks is fun. Do you put running lists like where you run every single, like you just kind of have a continuous list, or do you do it in the back? Because I actually think that maybe this is the year that I start to get more into the collection style in bullet journaling, which is not really something I do. And I start to consider the idea of like, when I have long running to-do lists, I can kind of do them on these pages, which I think I could easily fit in. I wasn't even trying with this, this sort of spread. I wasn't even trying anything to do with like, I just was using the existing Lamy Safari fountain pen that I have with the ink. And, you know, with some more dedication, I'm sure I could find like the perfect tip or whatever for working in these. I do think that this is kind of a neater tip. And I also have some, I think I have dark green ink in here right now. And, you know, this might end up being better or whatever. I don't know. I'm very charmed by how tiny this is right now. It would work for a skating planner, but I'm worried it might be too much for a skating planner. I might not need to have a standalone skating planner. So I thought I would try it out, but yeah. Listing everything down on one side, events on the other. I don't like any of the covers for Hobonichi this year. I love the Insoya and Ramana covers, half covers, but I'm interested in the English versions they're putting out this year. Wait, I'm going to look up what is it? Insuyasha and Ramana. Which ones are these? Okay, maybe I'll just have to type in Hobonichi. Y'all are seeing how much I rely on the autocorrect. Oh, okay. Oh, were these last year's? I didn't realize that, or is it a new artist for last year? Raman half? Are they, wait, is it like Inuyasha Ranma half? Oh, it's an anime. I see. And Hobonichi. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. I keep getting the last year's store. I keep getting 2021. Is it this one? That's last year. Two years ago, I think. Oh, they have a new one for One Piece this year. Interesting. It's the anime covers. It's last year. This is the first year Hobonichi's been on my launch at launch time. The hype is wild. I know. I got into Hobonichi. I first tried it out around like mid-launch one year, and it had been on my radar for a long time, but I wasn't invested in it. And I thought it was wild how people were like ordering Hobonichis and then like unboxing like hundreds of dollars worth of Hobonichi products and like how much stuff they were getting. And I will say that I'm fully in with it now, but I'm not the kind of person that will watch the website every single day. And honestly, I don't feel like the fervor is quite as wild as it has been in years past. Oh, they don't have any this year. They're old ones. Oh, yeah. This year is dedicated to One Piece again. Okay. I don't know any of the animes, so that I do feel like it's just like, I do feel like a lot of the stuff is just very, I don't know. A lot of the stuff is just very relevant to pop culture that I am not part of. And so it doesn't feel particularly exciting. I also am not the kind of person that really generally wants pop culture references on my stuff. Thereen says, if they do Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura covers, I will auto buy it. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would say if they probably did a Pusheen one, I would probably buy it. A Pusheen and Hobonichi collab would probably break my brain. You know, I just feel like there's too many problems for me personally with Hobonichi, like as a long-term issue, the main one being the bottom of the page being taken up by stuff. And then for a long time, it was like that they didn't have English versions of like all of their most popular ones. So I feel like there's enough alternatives now that use kind of similar paper of similar layouts, but with some of tweaks that I don't think I need to get a Hobonichi. Which is kind of a bummer because I live in a city that like is one of the big, has a store that's one of the big Hobonichi importers, but so was there any other planners that I want to talk about? So do you all think I should get this adorable cover for my weeks? Does it need a cover? Do I really need to spend $70 on a cover for my planner? No. I'm considering Hobonichi for its freebies, but I'll wait till spring. Yeah, there will be other designs in spring. So, and you can always, like me, just get something in August and get it for half price off Amazon, and it was delivered next day. I feel like Hobonichi isn't quite so big now that there are smaller shops offering planner that solve some of the problems people have with it. I agree. There's just like it used to be that there was only Wonderland 222, and Wonderland 222 would never work for me because the weekends are stacked. And I can't abide by that, especially as someone who works on the weekends. But I just have never, I always have more lists on the weekends, not fewer. And so the weekends being stacked is a no-go for me. So I never could use Wonderland 222. But for a long time, they were kind of the only one that were making planners. Sorry, it's probably distracting to have that next to my face. They were the only ones that were kind of making alternative planners for them. But now there's quite a few options. I love how tiny and cute this is, but I do think the weekly notebook layout would be pretty cool. I also have been saying, I've been like getting lured in by some of the beautiful Hobonichi layouts people do with like tracking stuff. Hobonichi Weeks layouts for tracking. There's someone in particular, I found on Instagram who kind of does, really utilizes the grid style and like makes little cute tracking each week. And I do feel like it offers a lot of opportunities to I'll try to see if I can bring some stuff up without blasting my Instagram at all of you, but I'll look through I'll bring it up on my other one. I have been caught in exactly what I caution people against, which is that you start imagining that you'll be as like artistic as other people, that you see their layouts and you imagine a different version of yourself when you're looking at all of these, and that's what talks you into buying more of these. But I absolutely have been doing that with the Hobonichi Weeks, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so productive. I'm gonna have such cute little layouts of all my data. So this is someone that I have been following. Hold on, let me screen mirror. Can you all see that? Maybe if I turn this, will it work? Nope. Okay, well, it's kind of a bit silly, but so he does these layouts that I do think are just supremely cool. Maybe if I do it on my iPad, we'll be able to make it bigger because I think it's pretty hard to see. Oh no, because it's Instagram. So it doesn't matter anyway. Why are we like this? Why is Instagram like this? Of course, I can't show you guys because Instagram insists on displaying in this stupid vertical format, even though all of the pictures are like that. But you can see like how he does all these little dots and he like draws on all these graphs. There's also a lot of people that do a lot of like stamping in them, which I find particularly cool. I have been keeping an eye on some of the ways that people do memory keeping in their traveler's notebooks because I think I want to get better at making mine a little more aesthetically pleasing. But look at all these little notes that people do on the side of the Hobonichi Weeks. I'm very tempted. Get the wallet because I think your 2023 weeks can be repurposed as an undated running list for next year. I have wondered if maybe I could do a well, I'm gonna keep using the 2023. I'm gonna keep using the 2023 one, I think. I'm gonna try out different layouts on it and stuff like that. It's really cute, and I might use it as a skating planner. I'm just so charmed by how tiny it is. But look at this. This is why I need a cover. Look, it's already got at least a jelly cover or something. It's already got grease spots from donuts on it. And it'll get wet at the ring if I don't put at least a jelly cover on it. I feel like I could get the little wallet for it, and then I can bring it when I'm on reporting assignments, and I can use it for keeping my notes rather than bringing, like, I never bring this guy out when I'm out doing reporting because I have to, like, juggle all of my equipment and everything. If people don't know, I'm a radio reporter. So when I'm, like, actually reporting on location, having a tiny note like book like this would be really great. And I often bring, like, a little passport field note size just so that I can mark, like, timestamps and stuff like that. So it's easier to find things in my audio recordings for the transcript. But I feel like I could do it in the back of one of these notebooks. And if I had a little wallet chain purse, it would just be very easy. It needs a wallet. I like how people are very back and forth about whether or not I should get that. I will say you say no, especially if I want to toss it in my bag, but I'm currently tossing this guy in my bag. And if a little wallet for this guy would be like nothing, especially if it also contains some of the other stuff. So, I do wonder what the best, like, I'm really just very, this is really just the Lily is charmed by her cute little Weeks notebook show, but I'm really wondering what the best, I should have like a test page for all of my different inks here. I like how I'm going all the way to the back, like I don't have tons of unused pages on this thing that I bought more than 3/4 of the way through the year. Do I otherwise carry a purse? Because you wouldn't wear two, but if not, it's super cute. No, I don't carry a purse. I carry a giant pannier bag with me. I do have like a sling bag that I take out sometimes, but the whole reason I got this sling bag, I'll show you. I bought this sling bag in Japan so that it could fit, my traveler's notebook. So that when I would go out and do journaling when we were traveling, I would have that. And I use it all the time for that purpose. And I can also throw my cameras in it and stuff. But this is the only time I have a purse, which is, I could easily explicitly use that little bag instead of this. So I'm just saying, it's looking pretty good. Weeks fits well into pockets. Portability without a bag is a necessity for my work planner, and I've enjoyed the Weeks size the most. The wallet is the bag. See? Yes. I think there's a lot of reasons why this could work very well. It could work for reporting. It could work for like, you know, I do think that like I could have just my little tiny list for my like follow-ups and things like that. And then if I'm doing a more detailed story or project or whatever, and I need more pages, I can go into the back and kind of create a running list of some sort. Should we do a test page for... See, this is what I'm worried about. I do feel like it is kind of hard to write. I don't think this would work for memory keeping as well as I would hope, because it's like, I don't know. This is like what left-handed people feel like all the time. This is, I think, the emerald. Why does it look black? But I thought it was emerald ink. It must be black ink. I know what's in here. I guess it is black ink. It is the black Coeco Sport. I can't do memory keeping in such a small space. Yeah, I think that is. Are the straps detachable? They for the little planner? Yeah. One, yeah, it's either just a cover or you can add straps to it. This one is, I don't know what's in here. I don't know what inks I've put in my pens, y'all. I think this is Ferris wheel inks. I don't know what it's called. I saw someone say they flossed their nib on Instagram, and I went, wow, I know nothing about fountain pens. I didn't even know, I don't know what flossing your nib is. I'm assuming it's like going into the, I don't know, but yep. So this Ferris wheel inks in some sort of color. Clearly I should not be writing out the colors. That's a nice big thick one. This is the Uni Pen pen, which I discovered are really hard to find in the US, and I had to buy like all of them when I was there. I feel like you need a small one, but you not need it to not be for the big black pens. .24. And then this one is, oh yeah, this is the same Uni pen 0.24. I like how they're the same, but one absolutely looks bigger. I feel like we're missing one of these. Which one are these? 0.24, 0.24. I'm missing one of the Uni pen pens. Flossing requires care. You can floss it bad enough to break it. I'm never doing that then. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna floss my pen. Aaron used to be into fountain pens. Have you ever flossed a nib, Aaron? Do you know what it is? Okay, yeah. Detachable streets is a great feature for throwing into the big bag. I know. You all are doing a great job. Maybe they had glitter stuck in the nib. I don't know, they did it with like brass or something. I don't know. This guy is so cute, and I feel like it could solve all of my problems, obviously. But, and I do think that if, I honestly just want them to have that wallet, but for a regular standard traveler notebook size. But I understand why it's only for one this big. That makes some sense. I'm glad to know that other people were stuck on it. All right, y'all. I think we've covered things a lot. I don't know if I've made a decision on my planners, but at least you can see where I'm at this way through the year. If you have great suggestions on what I can do with this adorable weeks, any beautiful spreads you've done or that have inspired you, and you want to send them to me, I'm gonna test out different spreads and see what I can do, and just see how I like it. And then the sale for that Estelle wallet, it ends in like a couple days, so I maybe will decide before then if I should spend $70 on another cover / wallet. But and if I'm gonna still kind of test this out as like a skating tracker and see what I can do. I currently track all of my skating on my phone, which if we open it, so I track all of the hours that I do skating on my phone. So like this is the kind of thing that I could probably also put in there. And then inside of my skating log, I track like I rate them on the scale of like 1 to 5 stars maybe. And inside of my little skate log template, I'll say what I worked on. So but I do kind of feel like this is not really the best format for it. And then I also track like how many like jumps I do during the year, and like how many sit spins I do. So year to date, I've done 146 sit spins, and you can see when the rink was closed. Look at that big gap right there. And yeah, I don't know how like, oh, and how many times I've fallen. I've fallen 22 times this year, which is not really that many. So, you know, skating tracker in the monthly view might work. Yeah, I think that there's something I can do. I think I got very precious about the monthly view in my take a note, and I feel like I didn't want it just taken up by skating, but currently it's not taken up by literally anything. So and I kind of felt like it was too small to like write in here because there's just, I don't know. It just like kind of didn't work for skating track and like kind of didn't work here, but it might work on a monthly calendar that has nothing else going on. I could then put in like test dates and I could put stars maybe, and then maybe I could have like a little graph of some sort of how many like jumps and spins and, you know, what maybe some like journaling, because today I tried and I like did like a little bit of journaling, like a morning session, blah blah blah. But I had this planner for literally 30 minutes when I went to the rink today, so I hadn't really fully thought about it yet. It did not occur to me that you would need to track all that for skating. You don't actually have to track all that, but I track a lot of stuff. If people don't know me from like my quantified self stuff, I have been tracking like miles biked, drinks of alcohol, drinks of caffeine, mood, how many burritos I have, coffee, the number of friends I've seen, tacos, everything I wear, how many I skate, what number I am on the bridge that I take over every day. So I have like a bridge number that I take to work, and depending on what time of day I go, it's a different number. So I've been tracking a lot of stuff, and I've been doing this for a decade now. So more than a decade now. So I have a couple talks about it too. If you're someone who's into quantified self, you can look up my name in quantified self, and I've given a couple talks on like the data art and stuff that I've done. So celebrating small skating wins in a monthly view seems to be quite satisfying. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that kind of working. What app is this? Well, I use a bunch of different apps for my tracking, which you can find on my website at anomaly.net/lifestack. This particular app is called Lumen Trails Daily Tracker, and I've been using it for a really long time. It exports to a Google Sheet. It gives you a nice, like, kind of basic overview of things. And it works decently well, you know. You can see how little I biked in 2020, for example. So, yeah. I also use this app called Life Cycle, which does it with my phone based on where I'm at. And then I use this app called Reporter, which I have custom questions set up in it, and it will record like how many photos I've taken since last time I've logged, which I do it once a day now. I used to do it more often than that. And then I'll type in like, and this also tracks like what I wore and what my elevation is and all sorts of other things. What modes of transport I took during the day and things like that. That's some Edward Tuft type infographics there. I don't know who Edward Tuft is. A lot of people are familiar with Nicholas Feltron's art. And his quantified self-tracking, and I've been doing it longer, but not as well as him. So his stuff is really beautiful and very gorgeous, and so life changed in 2023, so biking less makes change. Well, 2020, that's why I was biking so much less, but in 2023, I think my miles are pretty high now. So yeah, this is Sleep Tracker. Miles biked. So 2013, which is the first year that my miles, I've been tracking my miles bike longer than that, but it's the first year that I had them in here. I didn't start tracking in this app until, or no, I tracked all year in 2013. So that was about 4,000 miles, and then it was 4,000 miles, and then in 2015 it was 2,500, then 2,500, then 2,000, then 2,100, then 1,400, and then it was only 623, and you can see the running total. Oh, I just realized I wasn't sharing the screen, but you can see the running total in 2020, where it just flattened out because I didn't have any commute anymore. So I had like almost a whole month where I'd like just not get on my bike because I didn't have anywhere to go. Because it turns out I'm not a biker for fun. I'm a biker for that. But in 2023, I'm back up to, yeah, we're not even done with the year, and I'll definitely hit over 2,500. So okay, y'all, thank you all for joining me. We have been streaming now for 90 minutes, which is kind of long. And I think I need to go get ready for work tomorrow, where I might possibly try out my new weeks planner. See what's going on with it. Thank you all for joining me. If you have thoughts about any planners, if you want to talk me into buying a cute wallet for my weeks, just let me know. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. Pet a cat if you have one available. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.